Argentina is one of the best-known countries in South America, yet it possesses historical, economic, and natural characteristics that surprise even those who closely follow the nation. Perhaps you know Argentina only because of the FIFA World Cup. After all, the country won the championship in 2022 and is home to one of the most famous soccer players in the world today, and, for many people, the greatest player of all time. But do you really know Argentina? What secrets does this country hide? In today's video, we're going to discover what it's really like to live in Argentina by exploring its culture, economy, history, and much more. And if you've already visited Argentina yourself, let us know about your experience in the comments, whether you were there as a tourist or as a resident. There is something fascinating about this country. Argentina was once among the wealthiest nations on Earth. During the early 20th century, especially between 1880 and 1914, the country experienced a true golden age. Thanks to exports of beef, wheat, and other agricultural products to Europe, Argentina ranked among the world's most prosperous economies in terms of income per capita. Millions of European immigrants arrived in search of opportunity, transforming Buenos Aires into one of the most modern cities of its time. However, recurring political crises, shifts in economic policy, and successive periods of instability prevented that remarkable growth from being sustained over the following decades. Argentina is a country that often evokes strong emotions in those who visit it. Some people are immediately captivated by its architecture, historic cafes, and the elegant atmosphere of its major cities. Others are surprised by the passion Argentinians bring to the simple pleasures of everyday life. After spending some time among them, it becomes clear that the country has an exceptionally strong national identity, shaped over centuries by immigration, economic crises, sporting achievements, and a deep appreciation for its own culture. Argentinians are generally very expressive people. They speak with animated gestures, easily change the tone of their voices, and show great enthusiasm when telling stories. During an ordinary conversation among friends, it is common for everyone to talk at once, interrupt one another, and yet no one considers it rude. To many visitors, this intensity may sound like an argument, but most of the time, it is simply a lively conversation. One of the country's best-known traits is its strong sense of national pride. In general, Argentinians enjoy talking about their country, its cuisine, wines, literature, music, and above all, soccer. That pride does not mean they ignore the nation's challenges. Quite the opposite. It is very common to hear Argentinians criticizing politics, the economy, and the country's ongoing difficulties. There is an interesting combination of loving Argentina deeply while also complaining about it almost every day. Walking through the streets of Buenos Aires, for example, you quickly notice that many people place great importance on their appearance, not necessarily by wearing extremely expensive clothing, but by choosing well-coordinated outfits, keeping their shoes polished, and maintaining a style that reflects elegance without being excessive. There is a long-standing tradition of dressing well before going out, even for simple activities like having a cup of coffee or taking a walk in the park. Personal appearance is often seen as a sign of respect for oneself and for others. Contrary to the stereotype many foreigners imagine, most Argentinians are not people who enjoy showing off wealth in extravagant ways. Of course, there are social circles where imported cars, luxury watches, and designer clothing are part of everyday life, just as in almost any country. However, cultural prestige often carries just as much weight. Having a deep knowledge of fine wines, Attending theatre performances or discussing literature and gastronomy can earn as much admiration as owning expensive possessions. Another fascinating aspect is the European influence on Argentina's cultural identity. Between the late 19th century and the early 20th century, millions of immigrants, primarily from Italy and Spain, arrived in the country. Their legacy can still be seen in the architecture, cuisine, accent, and even in the expressive hand gestures many Argentinians use while speaking. At the same time, the nation has preserved indigenous traditions and broader Latin American influences, making its identity far more complex than a simple comparison with Europe. Physically, there is no single appearance that defines Argentinians. In some regions, people of European descent are more common, often with fair skin, brown or blonde hair, and light-colored eyes. In other areas, particularly in the north of the country, indigenous and mixed ancestry is more prevalent, creating a rich diversity of skin tones, facial features, and physical characteristics. The natural beauty of Argentina is equally remarkable. Few countries offer such an extraordinary variety of landscapes within a single territory. Traveling across Argentina often feels like moving through several different worlds, where the climate, vegetation, and terrain change constantly, creating a level of diversity that surprises even travelers who have already explored much of South America. The country is home to an incredible range of natural environments, stretching from regions known for their harsh cold to areas with subtropical climates. Along the way, you'll find vast plains, towering mountain ranges, forests, deserts, grasslands, valleys, lakes, and extensive coastlines. This remarkable diversity also supports an equally rich array of wildlife, with countless species adapted to dramatically different environmental conditions. These striking contrasts are among Argentina's defining characteristics. In just a few days of travel, it is possible to move from dry, arid landscapes to regions covered with lush vegetation. Some places appear almost completely untouched, while others reveal spectacular geological formations sculpted over millions of years by wind, water, and changing climates. Another aspect that immediately stands out is the overwhelming sense of vastness. In many parts of the country, the horizon seems endless. Highways stretch for miles across open landscapes where signs of human presence are minimal, and silence becomes part of the experience itself. This immense scale creates a rare feeling of freedom and reinforces the idea that there are still places where nature remains the true centerpiece. The changing seasons also transform the landscape throughout the year. The colors of the vegetation, the intensity of the sunlight, the presence of snow in some regions, and the blooming of plants in others mean that the very same place can look completely different depending on the time of year. This constant transformation ensures that every journey offers a unique experience. Argentina's geography also supports an extraordinary variety of ecosystems. Differences in elevation across the country have a direct impact on temperature, humidity, and vegetation, creating remarkably distinct environments. This diversity provides ideal conditions for countless species of plants and animals to thrive, forming a natural heritage of exceptional environmental importance. Argentina's natural wealth also inspires a deep sense of wonder. Many travelers visit the country not only to enjoy outdoor activities, but also to experience the silence, observe wildlife, photograph breathtaking landscapes, and simply slow down while taking in the grandeur of nature. There is a peaceful atmosphere that encourages visitors to pay closer attention to the world around them. Perhaps the greatest charm of Argentina's landscapes lies in their incredible diversity. No single image can truly represent the country's natural beauty. Not long ago, Argentina was facing a severe economic crisis. The country's most devastating recent economic crisis occurred between 2001 and 2002. It was especially destructive because it combined a banking collapse, a sovereign debt default, a deep recession, soaring unemployment, widespread poverty, and political instability, all at the same time. For years, the Argentine peso had been artificially pegged to the United States dollar at a 1-to-1 exchange rate. While this system initially helped curb inflation, it also made the country expensive, less competitive, and heavily dependent on borrowing. Once the government lost access to credit, there were no longer enough dollars to maintain the currency peg. At the end of 2001, the government imposed the corralito, restricting cash withdrawals from banks. Millions of Argentinians had money deposited in their accounts, but could no longer access it freely. The result was widespread protests, looting, violent clashes with security forces, and fatalities. President Fernando de la Rúa resigned in December of 2001, and the country entered a chaotic period marked by a rapid succession of presidents. Argentina also declared a default on approximately $100 billion in public debt, which at the time was considered one of the largest sovereign defaults in history. The fixed exchange rate between the peso and the dollar was abandoned. The currency lost much of its value, and the savings of countless families were severely diminished. Between 1999 and 2002, Argentina's gross domestic product contracted dramatically. In 2002 alone, the economy shrank by nearly 11%, contributing to an overall decline of more than 20% during the crisis. The World Bank described it as the worst economic collapse in the country's recorded history. At its peak, poverty affected more than half of the population, according to some estimates. Unemployment rose above 20%, businesses closed, and many workers began receiving part of their wages in provincial currencies or local bonds because there was not enough cash circulating throughout the economy. However, by the middle of 2026, Argentina's economy presents a very different picture from the one it faced just a few years earlier. After a prolonged period of extremely high inflation, large fiscal deficits, and severe instability, the administration of Javier Milei achieved significant improvements in several key macroeconomic indicators. In summary, Argentina appears to be experiencing a period of economic stabilization, although it has not yet reached a stage of broad-based prosperity. Even so, Argentinians rarely lose their resilience. Family remains at the heart of daily life for many people across the country. Parents, children, grandparents, uncles, aunts, and cousins frequently gather to share long meals, spend hours talking, and strengthen family bonds. Even in large cities, Where daily life moves at a fast pace, these gatherings continue to play an important role. The traditional Argentine barbecue, known as asado, also holds a special place in everyday life. Preparing the meat is almost a ceremony. There is no rush. The fire is lit slowly, the meat cooks over several hours, and the meal itself often lasts just as long. The goal is not simply to eat, but to enjoy the company of family and friends. Many lifelong friendships and family traditions are strengthened around the barbecue grill. When it comes to soccer, few countries embrace the sport with such passion. Clubs like Boca Juniors and River Plate represent far more than athletic organizations. They are part of the identity of millions of people. During major tournaments, streets are decorated, bars fill with fans, and everyday conversations revolve around the latest matches. Following Argentina's victory in the 2022 FIFA World Cup, that sense of national pride became even stronger. The country's passion for sports extends beyond soccer. Rugby has a long-standing tradition within certain sectors of society. Argentine polo is widely regarded as among the finest in the world. Basketball also earned tremendous respect after the nation's Olympic gold medal in 2004. Even so, no other sport comes close to matching the cultural influence of soccer. Debate is deeply woven into Argentine culture. Politics, economics, soccer, art, and history frequently become topics of conversation. Strong opinions and lively discussions are common, but they do not necessarily lead to personal conflict. Many friendships endure passionate debates because there is a long tradition of defending ideas with enthusiasm. When it comes to visitors, Argentinians are generally welcoming, especially when travelers show genuine interest in the local culture, make an effort to speak a few words of Spanish, or ask questions about the country. Many enjoy explaining local customs, recommending restaurants, suggesting places to visit, and sharing stories about their hometowns. Naturally, experiences vary depending on the region and the individual, but tourism is generally well received. Argentinians also place a high value on education and culture. Buenos Aires is home to an impressive number of bookstores, theaters, museums, and cultural centers. Reading books, visiting exhibitions, and attending theater performances are part of everyday life for many residents. It is no coincidence that the city is often referred to as one of Latin America's cultural capitals. Tango remains one of Argentina's greatest national symbols, although it plays a smaller role in everyday life than many tourists expect. Most Argentinians regularly listen to other musical genres such as Argentine rock, pop, electronic music, and Latin rhythms. Even so, tango continues to be deeply respected as one of the nation's most treasured cultural traditions. Living in Argentina also means learning to cope with frequent economic challenges. High inflation, currency fluctuations, and recurring periods of instability are deeply embedded in the country's collective memory. Perhaps because of this, Argentinians have developed an extraordinary ability to adapt. Many face difficult circumstances with remarkable creativity while managing to preserve their optimism and sense of humor. At the same time that they appreciate elegance, Argentinians also value life's simple pleasures, taking walks through parks, enjoying handcrafted ice cream, watching the sunset along the shores of the Rio de la Plata, or spending hours talking in a public square are all common activities. There is a strong tradition of making the most of public spaces and enjoying city life. Another characteristic frequently noticed by visitors is their honesty. Many Argentinians tend to say exactly what they think, even when their opinions may sound blunt. To people from some cultures, this directness can come across as arrogance, but in most cases, it is simply a more straightforward style of communication. Today, Argentina's gross domestic product is driven primarily by the service sector. Commerce, transportation, banking, real estate, telecommunications, healthcare, education, tourism, public administration, technology, and professional services account for the largest share of the country's economic activity. Although Argentina is internationally famous for its agricultural production, it is the daily activity of its cities and service-based businesses that generates most of the nation's economic output. Industry also plays a significant role in Argentina's economy. According to the latest consolidated data from the World Bank, industrial activities, including construction, accounted for approximately 24% of the country's gross domestic product in 2024. The most important industries include food and beverage manufacturing, automobiles and auto parts, chemicals, pharmaceuticals, agricultural machinery, steel, aluminum, textiles, and petroleum products. Commerce is another major economic engine. Supermarkets, retail stores, restaurants, wholesalers, distributors, e-commerce businesses, and wholesale trade generate a substantial share of employment and income. Because this sector is closely tied to household spending, it tends to respond quickly to changes in wages, inflation, credit availability, and consumers' purchasing power. Agriculture represents a smaller direct share of Argentina's gross domestic product than many people expect, accounting for roughly 6% according to consolidated data from 2024. However, its economic importance becomes much greater when industries connected to processing, transportation, and exporting agricultural products are included. Soybeans, corn, wheat, beef, dairy products, sunflowers, barley, peanuts, fruits, and wine support an extensive network of industries and services. For this reason, agribusiness plays an especially important role in bringing United States dollars into the country. In 2025, Argentina reached a record level of agro-industrial exports, led by soybeans, corn, wheat, barley, sunflowers, beef, and forestry products. So while agriculture may not be the largest contributor to gross domestic product, it remains essential to foreign trade and the country's supply of foreign currency. The energy sector has also been expanding rapidly. Oil and natural gas production, electricity generation, and the transportation, refining, and distribution of fuels continue to attract major investments. Rising production strengthens exports and can reduce the country's dependence on imported energy, making this sector increasingly strategic for Argentina's external accounts. Mining is another industry experiencing significant growth, particularly because of lithium, gold, silver, and emerging copper projects. Although mining still contributes less to the economy than services, industry, and agribusiness, it is widely viewed as one of Argentina's greatest opportunities for future growth. Global demand for minerals used in batteries, power grids, and low-carbon technologies has increased the interest of foreign companies in developing projects throughout the country. Construction completes this group of key economic sectors. Residential, commercial, industrial, and infrastructure projects support manufacturers of cement, steel, glass, lumber, and heavy equipment, while providing employment for large numbers of workers. The construction industry tends to fluctuate considerably depending on the availability of credit, private investment, and the level of public infrastructure spending. As you can see, Argentina is a country where modernity and tradition exist side by side. In its major cities, contemporary skyscrapers, financial districts, and technology companies stand alongside historic neighborhoods, century-old cafes, and customs that have been preserved for generations. While new cultural trends emerge quickly, traditions such as sharing mate, gathering for family barbecues, and spending weekends with loved ones continue to play an important role in everyday life. Another striking contrast can be found between urban life and the country's interior. Large metropolitan areas move at a fast pace, driven by intense economic, cultural, and commercial activity. Meanwhile, many rural regions maintain a slower lifestyle, closely connected to agriculture, local traditions, and the natural environment. These differences coexist within the same nation, creating a remarkably diverse society. Like every nation, Argentinians possess both strengths and contradictions. They express tremendous national pride while often criticizing their own government. They appreciate elegance, yet also cherish simple gatherings centered around a shared mate. They defend their opinions passionately while still being able to laugh at themselves. They are passionate about soccer, food, music, lively debates, and spending time together. Perhaps it is precisely this combination of passion, pride, hospitality, critical thinking, tradition, and resilience that makes Argentina such a fascinating country. Getting to know Argentinians means much more than visiting famous landmarks. It means understanding a society that celebrates its joys intensely, faces its challenges with determination, and preserves a cultural identity that remains one of the most distinctive in all of South America. I hope you enjoyed learning a little more about Argentina. But don't go anywhere. Up next, we have another video that you won't want to miss. We'll be waiting for you.